Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. There is a relatively large spread of religion in our country. And somewhat in the world, less in the world, but in our country, definitely there is a relatively large spread. I mean, everybody is in some way or the other associated with religion. Now, under such a condition, we should have been the most prosperous, the most happy, the most loving, the most tolerant, the most everything country. Because the spread of religion is highly penetrated here. It's penetrated every corner of our country. And yet you find that it's not happening like that, right? We are not all a happy, prosperous lot. So what's the problem here? The problem is we don't seem to get what religion is supposed to do. We seem to think upon it as a, what should I say, as some kind of balm or some kind of, I don't know, some kind of contract with God that if I worship you, you will ensure that me and my family will stay fine. Something like that. Or some people who are more intellectual are all going for this book, that book. This person said this, that person said that. So the great benefits of this is not available to us. It's almost like we are so close to the whole thing, and we're so capable of taking its benefit, and yet none of it is coming to us. It's this very, very strange phenomenon to see, our studies as a guiding light in life, as something that's leading our life, as something around which our life is going to be run. It's just not one of the things we do. It is the thing we do. Everything else is one of the things we do. This is what gets your priority, gets your 100% attention. This is where you snap into gear, as it were. Because when this is right, everything else is right. When this goes wrong, everything goes wrong. So this is what has to be like a magnet, rather to snap into attention. The moment you hear something to do with being able to lead life, learn life. We did a research on that actually. So many people, I don't know if you all have access to that research. We did a research on it. Deepash, do you have it? If you don't, please get it from someone. You have it, okay. No, you don't have it. Okay, then please get it. Mahesh, please send it to Deepash. We did a we did a research to find out what is actually happening, especially in terms of education. That's what we are focusing on. So we asked people that, maybe many of you all have answered that survey because it was put out. Do you think education today is doing what it should do? What do you think it should do, and is it doing it? So everybody agreed that it's just preparing us for livelihoods, for career, and any of the more higher skills such as critical thinking, problem solving, resilience, emotions. None of this is being taught to us in any kind of academic institution. So we asked people, if such a thing was to be taught, would you like to learn it for yourself, for your ward, whatever? Yes. 87% of people said, yeah, we'd love to learn. Next question was, do you know any institution which teaches it? They said, no. Like, wonderful, isn't it? I'm surprised to see that people, the person who did the research for us, he's a person from Nielsen. He first distributed it amongst his network. They said, no, understandable. Then we distributed it amongst our network, and our network said no. I mean, not all of it, but many said no. So this is amazing, isn't it? People who are studying this subject do not know that it's an education on life. What do you think it is then? Interesting things that you see when you do research. So if we don't look at it like that, if we don't look at it as a guiding light, if we don't look at it as whatever I'm doing in my life, it has to be based on Vedanta. This is the, what should I say? This is the fulcrum of it all. Everything else is an add-on. You want it, you take it. You don't want it, you don't take it. It's like, when you eat cow soy. The dish is given to you. And then you give you a whole bunch of things. Then you put whatever else you want in. Now that dish, the original dish which is given, that is Vedanta. And everything else in your life is your add-on. You डालना है डालो, नहीं डालना है मत डालो, इसका क्या जाता है? So that's how life is to be lived. Not first the add-ons are taken into consideration. फिर dish देख लेंगे. Can't be like that. When you do that, it's called negative relation. When the add-ons become more important than the main thing, it's called negative relation. Okay, so Bhargavi, you had a question?
Janki ji. In our Sanatana education, the Vedanta is thousands of years old. Then why we are facing this problem? This should be the main course of education for all individuals from thousands of years. Now, why it has fallen apart? And now we are realizing that the need of a Vedanta in daily education, main education rather.
There's a historical reason and there is a, should I say, psychological reason. The historical reason is that obviously we were a conquered nation. So we have been conquered and conquered and conquered, and through centuries. And so obviously whoever is the ruler will decide what you're studying. If a certain type of ruler is there, he'll decide. I mean, everybody, right? Even today, the dispensation in Delhi will decide what we are going to study in our books. If everybody will do that. British, if they were the rulers in Delhi, they will decide what we do. Anybody, the Mughal Empire decides this. Now, this is the historical reason. Okay, historical, political reason. What's the psychological or real reason? What happens is when you have something with you, you just have it with you. And you have it with you for centuries. It's just part of the ecosystem. You don't even recognize it's there. Okay, after a long period of time, the value decreases. This is a fact of life. If something is with you all the time, the value of that thing decreases. So we as Indians did not pay attention to this. We thought, hey, that was a given. Right? And so nothing much in our heads about it, no value over a long period of time. In the Gita also he mentions, I'm giving you this knowledge again because over a long period of time, it has faded, it is reduced. And these cycles will go on. Suppose we all work very hard now. We pick it up. We say, no, Indians, this is it. Keep to it. It will go on for a few centuries, hopefully. If we accomplish anything, and if people after us keep doing it, it'll go on for a few centuries. Then again, deterioration will start. This is just a normal thing. When it starts again, some other thing will happen. Like last time it happened, our country was conquered. And it happens again, I mean, assuming that we do a revival and it happens again, then something else will happen. Those are historical causes, external causes. They are bound to take place because of the deterioration due to time. Okay?
So Sambhavami Yuge Yuge will happen then.
Yes.
Oh,
Then of course something will happen. I'll pick it up again. I'll go down. I'll pick it up again. I'll go down. ये तो होता ही रहेगा.
Thank you.
So today we studied already what is positive religion. Now let us study negative religion. But even when we study it, sometimes it just appears it doesn't get to us. We're very close, but we're very far away. It's like, I don't know, it's sometimes frustrating that how can people be listening to this for years on end and it's still not occurred to them that this is the most important thing you can do in life. How is this even possible? And yet it is. Some people who sort of take more interest than the general, they say to me, why are people behaving like this? Should they not take more interest? Then I have to tell them what I always say and which you have heard many times, which is, and they also know because they have heard many times, which is one word, no, not too many words. Which is in Vedanta. There's no should. There's no should. Should they or should they not? I don't know. That I cannot tell. Are they or are they not? I can tell. It's a fact or it's not a fact. That's it. So getting the concept it's so tough. We will put anything as a priority over your Vedanta studies. Anything. Even watching what are these things called, reels and stories. They come, Nowadays I'm also learning what are reels, what are stories. I still can't tell the difference, but there is something called reels and there's something called stories. And one of them disappears quickly. So I think one of them disappears quickly. So becomes 30 seconds, 30 seconds, 30 seconds. Like that, 3 hours have gone. Hello, what's going on here? So, like the most frivolous things. If we were to ask people in class, how important do you think Vedanta is? People will do jhandebaji, narebaji, how important it is. Then now there is a phone in your hand. Now what? How important is it? Gaya wo sab narebaji. So, negative religion is not understanding what you're doing, why you're doing, and what is supposed to come out of it. Do we even know that, okay, if I do this, then in some time, this is what I expect will happen? Do I know that? What is it that I want to happen? How are my actions geared to making that thing happen? What is my goal? Do I have a goal? Yesterday, Momita said she just switched on her video. She's telling me everybody is here on their own agenda. Everybody is here on their own agenda? What other agenda can we have over here? And if we do, we won't get the benefits of this. It's so simple, isn't it? All of this comes under negative religion. Now, because he has written a book, he has put it very, very simply. The disadvantage of learning from Swamiji is that he has digested the knowledge and puts it to us very simply. When he puts it so simply, we say, okay, I know this. And we go to the next page. That way, Sufi has a Sufi, Zen, Koans, they have an advantage. Which is, kya bola, samajh mein hi nahi aaya. So you stop over there. We just think it's all, yeah, got it. What is the difficulty? If you look for the self, you're in positive religion. If you look for physical, mental, or intellectual pleasures, you're in negative religion. समझ में आया? अब क्या? अब क्या? What do you say to that? Who's MM? MM Milind?
बोल से जरूर
Yeah, Janki, Milind.
Hello, somebody has now taken a phone call, so at least can you put your volume off? So, right, so with this introduction, I don't know whether it was of any worth of use or not. How do you communicate the bhava? The words are easy enough. Bhava is what is the problem over here. So, how do you communicate that? How do you say that? If you want the benefit of your study, you better give it the priority it deserves. Otherwise, you simply won't get the benefit. Because it's a law of life. You can only get out proportional to what you put in. This is a law. If Deepraj is studying mathematics, how much mathematics will he learn? It's entirely dependent on how much he puts into it. If a person is working in a business, how much will he earn from that business? It's proportional to what he puts into it. If a person writes a book, how much will he get out of that book? What monetary returns will he get out of that book? Be proportional to what he puts in. Not in writing the book, in getting those monetary returns. Why do you think our books don't do well? Because that kind of putting in effort of, like people who are authors, they are 24 hours on the job. They're going out there doing all that stuff that is required. When you don't do it, you can't get the results. It's that simple. So if you expect your Vedanta studies to give you some returns, I don't know if I can put it like that, but if you expect growth out of your Vedanta studies, you're going to get it in proportion to what you put in. And what do you have to put in? You have to put in all your ignorance, all your negativity, all your emotionalism, all your sentimentalism, all that is the ahuti you're going to put into that fire. And then only that fire can burn it. If you never put the ahuti, how will the fire burn it? Can't be done. Yes, Momita.
So there are all kinds of students. Like there's an Arjuna, there's an Eklavya. So Arjuna has worldly success, Eklavya doesn't. But they are both putting in their, dedicated effort. So
He doesn't have worldly success. Why not? He's the world's best archer.
in terms of I'm referring to the thing about authors. An author who has put in their best, and if the books don't do well, it's like Eklavya is not known outside of, he's the world's best archer. That only he knows. But Arjuna is recognized by other people. He has an audience. He has his, in that sense. So isn't it that we can be either, I mean, the success is not indicative of whether you have put in the required effort?
Of course, success is success in what is your question? You're mixing up what is success. I can write the world's best book, right? If I put in enough effort, maybe I can do that. Then now that depends on my talent, of course, but maybe I can do. To make it a bestseller, this is not the talent that is required. The talent to make it a bestseller or the work to make it a bestseller is different. So, what is your success? If you're counting this, what are you counting it at? If you're counting it success as Ekalavya is the most successful because he is the best archer, then he's the most successful. If you say no, popularity is what I'm counting as success, even then actually he's the most popular because everybody knows that he was the best archer. But the thing is, if you say, okay, Arjuna became the prince of the, or he had the wealth or whatever, according to you, then that's a different job. Arjuna's job is not to become the best archer. Arjuna's job is to protect the kingdom. And he's very, very good at that. That's what he does. Ekalavya's sadhana was to become the world's best archer. So each one is doing different things. And success means that you have achieved what you intended to achieve. So if you want to write the world's best book and you did, then you're successful. Somebody knows, doesn't know, that's their problem. But if your goal was to write a bestseller, then this entire work is very different. When you want to write a bestseller, you have to start from the concept that I want to write a bestseller. Because then everything you do is in accordance to that. If you write on, so what is success? What's the definition of success? Success is nothing but you achieve your goal, whatever that be. Okay? Achievement of objective is success. That's a very simple definition of success. So if you're clear what your objective is, and you do whatever is required to achieve that objective, of course you'll get it. Why not?
Yeah, so a Vedantin, I'm assuming that both Arjuna and Eklavya are Vedantins. Can we say that?
I don't know. I can't call Arjuna Vedantin, I think. Or maybe I can. In today's language, yes, because everybody comes to class and nobody learns. So that's Arjuna. So in that sense, yeah. In terms of today's Vedantins, I guess we can call him a Vedantin. He learned nothing of Vedanta, right? So fine. So he's a student of Vedanta. Chalo, we'll accept. Now, Ekalavya is a developed soul, highly developed soul. We can call him a sannyasi at the point where he was, because he can focus on one thing and do that alone. We can call him a sannyasi at that point. Even a teacher is not 100% required. A little bit is enough for him, just for him to focus his thoughts. And he gets to realization. So now it all depends on how you are using these various terms in life. It is no, the point is, if you set out to do something, you must know what that something is. And you must know what will take you there. If you do that work, you get there.
That sounds very deterministic. It's like Arjuna simply didn't have the samskar and Eklavya did. The intention of both is good.
It is, I mean, like determinist or otherwise, the fact is you will get what you ask for and work for.
But Arjuna did work for it. So
Work for, don't say it, say what.
learning I mean, he was also focused on one thing.
Learning what? What was Arjuna's question to Krishna? He said, shall I fight the war or shall I go away? In fact, he doesn't even ask the question. He says, I should not fight the war because of blah, 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 blah. Now tell me, what should I do? Shall I fight or go away? But I should not fight the war because blah, 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 blah. He is only concerned with should I fight the war or not fight the war. That's his only concern. Has he said, please tell me what is the truth? That's not his question at all. That's Uddhav's question. For that, you have to go to Uddhav Gita. So when people come, what you said yesterday, very philosophical statement, everybody is here with his own agenda. So that agenda may or may not get fulfilled, but you're not going to learn Vedanta because of it, depending on what the other agenda is.
No, what I meant by that is like, I mean, we have different means of, we think, I assume we are all thinking we are aiming to realize the self, but the means is different.
I wish this was true. There is no means other than the ones that are laid down. You can't
Study.
say, no. There's a whole sadhana laid down. Okay, now you can call it various names, but if you're not following the causal relationship, the cause and effect relationships, it's not happening. So your job as a student is to find out what is the cause for the goal that I seek. Then no, it's my way. Then please go your way. There's no, if you can't say, I want to heat water, I'm going to put it in the fridge. Okay, put it in the fridge. You can't say, oh, but each one has his own way. That's what these woke people talk, no? That's what people are against them for. Oh, each one has his own way. Well, no, each one has his own way. No, there are some principles, there are causal relationships, there is something called cause and effect in this world. Apna hi karo. So, okay, then do it. Nobody can stop you. You're a free agent.
So while both Arjuna and Eklavya were aiming to be the best archers, no, they were not. We can't say that.
I don't know that. Ekalavya was aiming to be the best archer. Arjuna had a role. His role was of a Kshatriya, protection of the nation. And he was very good at that. In fact, he used all his skills for public welfare.
So then why, how can we say that he was not as, then that's his agenda, then both of their agendas are good enough to reach the self. I mean, aiming.
I don't know what you're trying to put in this, but we don't seem to be getting anywhere. Each one has his own agenda. He has to have the causal relationship to reach that point, whatever his goal is. That's the baseline. But now I think it's like you're struggling to put something in, but I'm not able to tell what is that thing you want to put in.
Okay, I'll think about it. Thank you.
Right. So when we are not very clear about what we are taking part in the study of Vedanta for, if we don't know that, there is little chance of ever getting it. You know, if everything becomes like, let me hear what this speaker is saying, let me hear what that speaker is saying. Oh, this thing of that speaker was very interesting. That thing of that speaker was very interesting. It's a waste of time, Baba. It's like going to multiple colleges and saying, oh, that teacher taught this one line very well. That teacher taught that line. You won't get a degree like that. Not that you're here for a degree, but you won't get education like that. Education is systematic, formulated, boring. You can't expect it, right? If you don't believe me, ask Aparna. She's been in education all her life. Can we do that, Aparna? Go from college to college, learning a subject. One day this teacher, one day that. You know, these people don't believe me. What do I do? No, that one said, that is very interesting what that person said. You will only end up being confused. Not because those people are wrong, but because you won't be able to weave it all into one narrative. That's why you see people, the more they study, the more they learn, the more they go all over the place, the more confused they are. Systematic daily study. Sounds so boring. But that's the only way. There is no other way. No other way means now don't say, oh, become like fanatic. The sadhana, as in causal effect, cause and effect relationships, that's what we have to get. Right? So, what are the wrong ones is what we are going to do now, because that's what normally people want to do. Right? So, shall we start on negative religion? Who will read? Let me see. Captain Pratap Mehta, will you read this paragraph?
I will read this paragraph. Thank you. One class of people go on pilgrimages, conduct religious ceremonies, perform various rituals for their material well-being. They pray for riches, higher status, better health, and other mundane benefits. Their motives rise no higher than that. Should I continue the second? It's too short, or
Oh,
it's
no,
okay?
just summarize this. Thank you.
Right. Like you opened this morning's talk, saying being a Vedantin, we must always work for higher cause. That's a selfless service. But the people who do add-ons to the religion, things like rituals, going on pilgrimages, etc., and they want something for themselves, higher status, more wealth, then they actually do not achieve what they want, enlightenment, progress towards enlightenment.
So, thank you. Yes. So, very important for us to understand in this is, please notice how well he has put it. One class of people go on pilgrimages, conduct religious ceremonies, perform various rituals. Up till this point, is there anything wrong in this sentence? Is he saying that something is wrong up to this point? Is he anti pilgrimages, religious ceremonies, rituals?
If I may add here, the only pilgrimages and conducting religious rituals do not add value to the life, but living the life of a Vedantin is much more than performing rituals in the life.
Yeah, okay, but we can't say that. We cannot say that not doing rituals is somehow better than doing rituals. We are not taking that stance. The stance we are taking, yes, correct, Shilpa. You up to this point, go on pilgrimages, conduct religious ceremonies, perform various rituals. Up till this point, there's nothing wrong. Please, if you wish to go on a pilgrimage, why not? We'll all go with you also, no problem. You all have a good place to go on a pilgrimage, chalo, sab chalte hai, achhi baat hai. No problem. Conduct religious ceremonies, sure, no problem. We can also do a havan. In fact, on the plot, we've kept a place where we can do a havan. And our Mahesh was like, what? A place to do havan? We never do havan. No, it's not that we never do havan. It's that we have not yet done a havan. In the future, maybe we will. Who knows? We've got nothing against doing a havan. Very nice. Sometimes, sometimes they do it very nicely. And it's such a nice feeling that they are able to create. And they say so many wonderful things and remind us of higher thoughts. Nothing wrong with doing a yagna, havan. Your Vedas themselves have prescribed the havan. How can we say, nahi, yagna nahi karna chahiye? How can we make that statement? Right? Perform various rituals, जो घर की पूजा होती है, matha tekte hai, you bow down to elders. All these various rituals are there all over our country in various ways. Ladies put sindoor in their head. हर तरह की ritual है इस देश में, right? Are we against them? No, we're not. Why should we be against them? It's our culture, it's our tradition. We're not against them. Then what is he saying? What is his point? His point is that one class of people go on pilgrimages, conduct religious ceremonies, perform various rituals for their material well-being. Why are you touching the feet of elders? Because you're thinking, he'll remember me in his will one day. Yes, nahi karo, please. You touch the feet, don't worry about whether you remember you in the will. So, why are you doing? Why are you going on the religious ceremony? Ki acha yaar, kitne paap kar diye, chalo Ganga mein jaake naha lete hai. No, that's not how this works. They tell you Ganga mein nahane se paap dhulte hain. They say that. Why do they say that? Because in our tradition, the river Ganga represents knowledge. How does it represent knowledge? If you hear the whole mythology around it, you'll hear that Ganga was in the heavens and then Bhagirath prayed. I mean, it's a long and elaborate story. And then Ganga was brought down to earth. Right? So, what does it represent? It represents knowledge. So, they say Ganga mein jaake dubki lagao. Means what? Bathe yourself in knowledge, your sins will be washed away. Means what? Where do these sins come from? What are sins? Sins are mental agitations. Where are they coming from? They are coming from vasanas. If you get knowledge, your sins, your vasanas will be washed away. What's the complication over here? So, but you don't say, okay, no, I'm going into the waters of the Ganga and then all my sins will be washed away. Yeah, aise nahi hota. Right? So they go there for material well-being. What is this material well-being people are looking for? They want money. They want status. They want health. Haven't you seen this? Go to anywhere. Go to Mount Mary. Go to Siddhivinayak. Go to, what is it? There is a word for Jagrut Devta. Jagrut Devta means it's a place where if you go and pray, give me X, Y, or Z, that X, Y, Z will come to you. For Jagrut Devta. तो सोता हुआ देवता कौन है? That I don't understand. ये जागरूक है तो बाकी क्या सो रहे हैं क्या? What does it mean? So we are not against ritualism, against murti puja, against rituals, against pilgrimages. If you go to our sites of pilgrimage, don't go now, but once Modi has got the whole place cleaned up, then you go. It's the amazing, beautiful places. It's so good. One day we'll go. All of us, we can go. You all want to go on a pilgrimage one day? Let's go. Whoever says yes, you please take up and coordinate. Otherwise, you'll leave it back. Somebody has to coordinate.
Hari Om Janki ji.
Hari
I
Om
have a
Ganesh.
question. Some Advaitans, they say, see, the material wealth is Devatas, right? Is
The
asking the
material wealth is what?
asking material wealth, health, and all that is praying to the Devatas, right? As per the concept. So there are some Advaitans who say that if you pray, you will get that. Advaita Vedanta. So, is there a scientific reason behind this? Or, see, let's be honest, all of us want all of these material, health, relationship, and all that. It's good to have it. It's great to have it. Self is obviously there, but this is also very important. Doing these rituals for better health, happiness, some Advaita. So I was very surprised because I don't see any scientific logic behind this, apart from the one you told, that reduction in mental agitations. So they say that if you pray, if you do these rituals, you will get wealth, you will get health, you will get everything, not for this life, but for many other lives also. So what is the logic behind that?
The logic behind it is that everybody in this world has to live. The priests have to live. You will never give them any money unless they do your ritual that will fulfill your desire. So yes, you have to go and do it, because how will your priests continue to survive? So please do rituals, otherwise the whole priest class will be jobless and then they will come and take your job. They will take all your IT jobs because now they can't do priestly jobs. So please do rituals and let them have a living. But but the thing is that when you pray for something, you have crossed the first barrier of achievement. And the first barrier in achievement, Mamita, what is the first barrier of achievement?
Agitation, desire,
Tamas?
multiple desires.
Correct? Say it properly.
Having more than one desire.
Not knowing what you want. You cannot in this world, you in this world can have anything. But nobody can have everything. So you have to decide what is it you want and pursue that. If you do, you'll get it. Suppose we say, okay, simple. Suppose we say, I want to start a university. I want to take care of an orphanage. I want to do an old age home. I want to take care of environment. I want to, I don't know what. How will we ever achieve anything? We have to say one thing. What is it you want to do? I want to put up a university. If enough of us say that, we put it up. Not he wants to put, she wants to. I want to put. Not they are going to put, it will happen. I want. When we go like that, all of us, or many of us, we put it up. So first barrier in knowing, in obtaining what you want is knowing what. 9 out of 10 people in today's world are tamasic at the intellectual level. They're not clear about what is it they're trying to do. These corporate executives, why are they so much more successful than the rest of them? They have the big cars and the big whatever houses and the big titles and whatnot. And why? Because they have entered college with this notion. Not whatever it is, I'll be happy with it. Nonsense. This is where I want to get. And they have taken every decision in their life based on that, sometimes including who to marry. Every single thing is based on that. So obviously they've got their Mercedes, they've got their whatever it is, their second homes in Goa or Milan or New York or whatever it is they wanted. But they've been clear with it. So when you pray, so when you pray, right, you don't go with a list of 45 things, right? When you pray to God, you are of the view and belief that He's going to grant this thing to you, right? And you're getting an audience with Him. So you are going to tell Him your deepest desire. What is it I want? And you close your eyes and say, God, you need this. Does anybody sit there with a shopping list with God? Nobody does, right? Somebody wants a son. Then they go to God and they say, I want a son. Whatever they want. Right? It's very clear because when you're talking to God, like if you meet Prime Minister, will you tell him everything? Will you tell him कि मेरे घर में बिजली नहीं आ रही है, उसका जरा बंदोबस्त करो, ट्यूबलाइट मेरा चल नहीं रहा है? Do you talk like that? No, you will tell him the one thing you want because you've got a short audience who understands this. So the first barrier in achieving is knowing what you're trying to achieve. So when you pray, you're going to find that deepest desire and pray for it. So once that is achieved, then you yourself will know what is to be done next. Then it becomes relatively clear.
So it is effort that gives results, not prayer or rituals and all that. But still, this is just an opinion. A lot of people in our country, I'm sure you've seen the papers, who are in high status, they still go to temples and they perform rituals. So has the knowledge of Vedanta not hit them, or they are expect?
How that knowledge of Vedanta hasn't hit the people in class? How is it going to hit them?
Okay, I rest my case. Okay, thank you.
Rituals keep us grounded and focused. I don't know if it keeps you grounded and focused. I mean, for whoever it does keep, fine, do it. I mean, we are neither pro them nor against them. Whatever you do, everything is fine. However, the karma depends on your intention. I don't know if we can make such a big statement that anything you do is fine. It's fine in the sense, who are we to judge you? But whether you achieve something or don't depends on whether you followed causal. I mean, you will get the effect of the cause. It's fine to ask for riches, but if it is for selfless service, it is good. Yes, obviously. Everybody who's asked for donation has done it for getting something for everybody. Right?
It is in this context, it is in this context, the second message that I said intention is very important when performing any karma. It's derived from your thing which you had said long back: selfish action, unselfish action, and selfless action.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah,
But you can't make the statement, whatever you do, everything is fine. That is a very
No, but,
dangerous statement to make.
whatever you do, but it's generalized, but corroborated with the second one is ask for riches, but for selfless service.
Okay,
In
so
that sense.
yeah, but when you write, you have to be careful. When you
If
talk,
you
you
quit typing, if you quit typing, quit chat typing.
okay, fine. But still, like people will read it and they'll get a heart failure. We are not saying everything is fine. We're saying you get the effect of the cause you have put in. Mamita, Mimamsa, the philosophical partner of Vedanta, is essentially ritualistic too. Positive religion is the clear goal of God, self-realization. What? I didn't get it. What are you trying to say?
No, I mean, Mimamsa is supposed to be the counterpart of Vedanta, and it is ritualistic. But it is positive religion because it is clear that the goal is God and self-realization.
Mimamsa doesn't say it's clearly the goal is self-realization. It is very Putra Kameshti Yagnya, Ashwamedha Yagnya, all these are nothing to do with self-realization. In that state of ritualism, when a person is in the state of religion, in ritualism, you can't talk about self-realization. You can only talk of divinizing the desires, which is what they do. So, when you do Putra Kameshti Yagnya, for instance, you want a son. What has that got to do with God? But you divinize it. So then the divinity you added to all your desires are multifarious, divinity is one. So the desire for divinity increases the desires of the other things because they're multifarious. Your thoughts are not good. In everything, you're making your thought go definitely to God. But everything else is different. So the thought of God keeps getting stronger. That's how in Mimamsa they do.
So, but then their goal is
Yeah, the
different.
teacher's goal is always that. But they don't tell the students that.
So but then how do we call it positive religion? Because it is focused on material benefits.
Yeah, but it's still got the values associated with it. For instance, the yagna is not considered complete, I don't know if you're familiar, until the distribution of the gifts to the Brahmins, to the sages, to the whatever, all that. Dhanam is a very important part of this whole thing, to the animals. So it's all associated with values and things like that. It's not just like you go ask for it and that's it. It's like the whole, sort of culture around this thing. So it's
Also, why do we consider Mimamsa to be the counterpart of, because rituals are like nowhere a part of Vedanta. It sounds like logic, reason, that would be a better counterpart to Vedanta, like Nyaya. So why Mimamsa? Not
because it's part of the same book. The Vedas, the Purva Mimamsa is the rituals, and the later Mimamsa, in fact, Uttara Mimamsa is another word for Vedanta. So it's the same book, right? It's the Veda. The first portion is all this the Brahmanas, the Karma Kanda, or Mimamsa, whatever word you're using, they're all synonymous. And the latter part is Uttara Mimamsa, which is Vedanta, it's the same book.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
So this paragraph is clear that there is nothing against ritualism or pilgrimages or what are the other things, religious ceremonies. None of this. It is completely acceptable to do all of it. Right? What's the problem with it is
It should not be conditional.
we're not asking for material well-being out of it. Don't say, okay, we'll go to Tirupati Balaji or Vaishno Devi or Mansarovar or wherever it is and say, if I go there, I will become rich. If I go there, I will become healthy. If I go there, I will get Putravadhu. Don't do all this nonsense. Go there as your as part of your spiritual pursuit, as part of your remembrance of the divinity, as part of your reverence to divinity. If Elsie, you want to go to Vatican? Have you ever wanted to go to Vatican?
I have gone there.
You've gone there.
Yes.
So going to Vatican is good, right? And you felt inspired, right, by seeing all of that.
Like the paintings and the beautiful.
Yeah, whatever they have put there for us to be inspired. I'm sure anybody, any one of us going to the Vatican, seeing the grandeur of all that, and then seeing all these priests come in their ceremonial robes and all of that. Well, they're all inspired by her things, which is what it's meant to do. When you convert it to saying, I go to Vatican and then Jesus gives me money, now that's where the problem arises. I go to Tirupati Balaji, I'm inspired, I remember the truth, I remember the divinity, I have more thoughts associated with God. Fantastic. But if I say, oh, if I go there, I will get more money, and that's or money or health or wealth or whatever in the world you think. And there's some lacuna in that version. That's negative religion. This is the year for Roman Catholics to visit the Vatican, apparently. We should also go visit. Why should we not go? Why only Roman Catholics? We can also go. Yeah, Deepraj.
I went as a tourist only.
Yeah. I hope you got some inspiration out of going there.
Yeah, some paintings are inspirational, like Pieta and Mother Mary's. Some that definitely some emotional solace we can see.
No, inspiration, not just solace. Deepraj, yeah, go ahead, Deepraj.
Yeah, so even though it is negative religion because they're going for material gain, it is still, I mean, it's a step, right? It's the first step towards going towards positive religion. Because first they were not thinking of God. Now they're at least thinking of God, but in a wrong way. But then we can, yeah.
I mean, yeah, if you use the word better, then it's always a comparative thing, and better than what? And then you say, okay, better than not thinking of God. But now when you're on page 267 of the Vedanta Treatise and you still go there for material well-being, and this is worse. You know, I mean, it's the third portion of the book. Ab to sudhar jao, you know. Ab to seekh jao. So yes, you're right. Better than not doing it is doing it for the wrong reason. Better than not doing charity is doing charity for your name and fame. At least somebody benefited that you gave someone. But better than doing charity for your name and fame is doing charity good and true. So all things is like that.
Thank you.
Varsha, religion when imbibed is used and become power, and when exhibited is misused and declines. Okay, Varsha, this would, yeah, you're right. Except that when exhibited arrogantly, maybe we can say. Means you're arrogating it to the ego. Then it is misused and declines. Because when exhibited means what? Because like this class, for instance, is exhibited, right? It's not done in silence and secretly, and everybody knows it exists. So exhibited arrogantly, or like Vatican, for instance, it's massive, it's big, it's a city in itself. It's a good thing. I mean, unless somebody's arrogant about it, it's a good thing. Or Mecca, Medina, whatever. To get so many people to come. Or when we build the university, hopefully lots of people will come. For them to come, we will have to exhibit it. It's exhibited arrogantly, or it becomes like a decoration to the personality rather than a service of the Lord. It shines automatically when you imbibe it. Yes, that's true. Okay, so one class of people go there to do any religious pursuit for material well-being, and the second class of people. So Varsha, since you're top of my mind recall, will you read the next paragraph?
Okay. Okay. A second class of persons seeks religious asylum for emotional solace. They are the ones who are mentally disturbed, who are not able to handle their life's problem, and go through sorrow and suffering. Such persons approach religious avenues to ease their mental woes and gain peace. They also have utilitarian motives with no higher goals in mind. They're selfish in nature, far from being religious. In Gita, it has been written, मेरे पास 4 तरह के लोग आते हैं. एक जो प्रॉब्लम में है, सफर कर रहे हैं, जो आर्ट है. एक जो मुझे जानना चाहते हैं, एक जो मुझे जानते हैं, और एक जो किसी तरह का लाभ चाहते हैं, अर्थार्थी. तो उसमें जो सबसे ऊपर कहे गए हैं, जो मुझे जानते हैं, और इसलिए वो मेरे पास आते हैं. So among them the knowledgeable are the best one, and जो किसी अपनी suffering के कारण आते हैं, those are the lower ones. Actually in spirituality there is nothing like low or high, but it's still to elaborate it.
Very good. So second class of people come for emotional solace. Instead of solving their problems in life, they go grumbling and complaining about them.
Yes.
And this is where positive religion comes into the play. That if you have a problem, please solve it. Don't go around saying, oh God, solve it for me, solve it for me, solve it for me. Go solve it yourself. God has got command of his own. He's not sitting there doing lukhagiri कि ये लोग आएंगे और फिर मैं उनका सब काम कर दूंगा. Please. He has his own work to do. Let him do his own work. You do your work. Your job is to solve your life's problem. Find out what is an issue. How do you deal with it? So many people go from place of worship to another place of worship saying, oh, I have so many relationship problems. You sort yourself out, your relationship problems will get better.
Yes.
Deep Raj, are these people the most likely to turn fanatic because of so much emotion involved? I don't think you can actually say that. Because just emotion won't make you fanatic. Because a mind's nature is one word for the mind's nature, common word for mind's nature is one word, quickly.
Adat Swabhav.
Okay, you can say that quickly in this context.
Wonder.
Chanchal.
Chanchal, very good. It's fickle. You have to get stuck, no, to become fanatic. So if emotional people are saved from fanaticism by the fact that their mind is chanchal. एक चीज पर रुकता नहीं है.
But the mind also has the quality of obsession.
Yeah, that quality derives when rajas or tamas start playing. Mind of its, see, they're different characteristics, right? So the mind by itself is running from pillar to post. So it's not necessary that an emotional person will become fanatic. And intellectual may also become fanatical. I'm not saying more so, because he's now stuck. He's reasoned something out, and now nobody can reason any further. He thinks my reason is the best reason. Right? So no, so you can't say that they're the most likely to turn fanatical. That's the only point. Momita went with my sister to Mahakumbh, and only after I reached there, I realized I just wanted to support my sister and not take a dip, because I did not believe in it. It was a relief to realize that because then I could be inspired by others instead of feeling vaguely uneasy. That's right. So when you are able to tune into your own levels of inspiration, you don't have to follow the herd at all or feel guilty that you're not following the herd. So we've done two types of negative religion today. One is when you're doing it because of you want material well-being, or two, you're doing it because of emotional solace. Please try and put this to yourself. Don't say, I know those people, they're going there for emotional solace. How much of your classes are you doing for material well-being or emotional solace? The question we all need to ask ourselves. Because somewhere, these are human traits, right? Somewhere all of us are doing. We need to identify it and disassociate with it as far as possible. Remember our goal a little bit more. Okay, so that's it for today. Hari Om.
Hari Om,
Yes.
Janki.
Thank you,
Thank
Janki.
you.